right, guys, so welcome back to class. Welcome back to school. Once again, we're going to start off with our objectives for today so we know what it is that we're going to be learning. So let's continue moving forward. The students are going to know what a found materials poem is and create one of their own using the given criteria. You're also going to understand how to use descriptive and sensory language appropriately in order to compose a found materials poem. You're also going to be able to create your own material poem, found materials poem, and incorporate appropriate verb moods, figurative language, and descriptive and sensory language. So let's continue this work so we can get to those goals. These are some of the things that I would like for you to pay attention to. Our focusing question: how does form shape a story's meaning? And our content framing question, which we're on our reveal stage, says, what does a deeper exploration of poetic structure reveal in the crossover? So let's look at this. Found materials poem. And our craft question for today is, how do I use descriptive and sensory language in narrative writing? So if you go to page 155, and look at the poem, this is an example of a found materials poem. Today, you are going to be composing a poem that is similar to article number 1 in the Daily News, December 14th, which is on page 155 inside of your novels. You have the creative imagery freedom to add imagery to your own found materials poems. So let's look at the directions and the criteria for your found materials poem. You're going to choose an article as your source material on which to base your found materials poem. So what I mean by choosing an article is like a newspaper article. You're going to read the article and annotate for descriptions of major events by underlining key sentences. Then, on a separate piece of paper, you are going to rewrite your underlined sentences. Then you're going to annotate places in the same article or on your rewritten sentences with the senses you imagine as you read and what details you could see, hear, feel, smell, or taste. Then you're going to select places to add imagery and descriptive and sensory language. Consider the following. Choose a detail on which you can elaborate with more vivid imagery related to one of the scenes. Where can you add stronger adjectives, or passive or active verbs, or vivid verbs or concrete nouns? And where can you create a metaphor or simile by comparing the abstract idea to a concrete noun? Then you're going to revise your sentences so you have a variety of types: long sentences and short sentences, different types of verb mood sentences like indicative, imperative, and interrogative. And then you're going to end with the poem at the final stage that describes the overall event, including figurative language such as a simile or a metaphor. Once you have completed your poem, I want you to share out your poem and the newspaper article that you chose to compose your poem. You will do this in Flipgrid. So here's our discussion question for today. I want you to reread Fast Break, which is on page 149 and 150, and article number 1 in the Daily News, which is what we've been talking about today, and discuss the impact of the structure on the poem's meaning. Based on how it's written or how it's structured, what is the meaning that you get from these poems? What is the effect of the word and letter size in the position of Fast Break? What information does article number 1 in the Daily News reveal? How does the found materials poetic type impact your understanding of Josh's situation? and write several sentences explaining how different structures of the two poems reveal unique aspects of Josh's experience. How would the poems change if they exchanged poetic types? So let's look at our content framing question. How did our learning in this lesson develop our understanding of what poetic structure reveals in the crossover? How, for example, does article number 1 in the Daily News, December 14th, advance the plot or your understanding of the story? Use the sentence stem to answer the question. Article number 1 in the Daily News, December 14th, advances the plot because it emphasizes For today's homework, I want you to continue fluency, reading pages 197 through 222, the crossover, and annotate for repeated poetic structures that you see. With that said, I'll see you guys tomorrow.